Perhaps you have felt it, your belt one notch tighter, your blood pressure creeping up, your mind a little slower after meals. No sirens, no sudden pain, just a quiet alarm ringing from deep inside. This silent combination of belly fat, high blood sugar, and sluggish blood fats is called metabolic syndrome. Tonight, guided by the ideas in Genius Foods, we will gently open that alarm, understand it, and begin to calm it together. Before lab tests or diagnoses, your brain often whispers first. You might notice brain fog, trouble focusing, or feeling unusually drained after a simple task. Max Lugavere describes the brain as the control tower of your metabolism, constantly reading signals from blood sugar, fats, and hormones. When the tower is flooded by the wrong foods, the whole system slows, and those whispers turn into daily fatigue. Many people think belly fat is only a matter of looks, but science tells a deeper story. Visceral fat, fat wrapped around your organs, acts like a tiny factory, releasing inflammatory chemicals into your blood. These messengers reach the brain and interfere with how nerve cells use energy. That is why metabolic syndrome often brings not only larger waistlines, but also memory lapses and a heavy, foggy feeling in the mind. Imagine for a moment that your dinner plate is a remote control for your metabolism in your brain. Each bite sends a signal: inflame or calm, spike or steady, cloud or clear. In Genius Foods, certain foods act like a gentle reset button, turning down chronic inflammation and helping your cells respond to insulin again. You do not need perfection. You need a few powerful choices, repeated day after day. This is not a story about strict dieting or guilt. It is about returning your body to a way of eating that your genes understand. Max Lugavere calls these genius foods because they protect the brain while also supporting blood sugar, blood pressure, and triglycerides. For those living with metabolic syndrome, each small shift is like taking one step back toward the person you remember being. Curious what those foods are? Let us walk there slowly. Inside your blood vessels and organs, a slow, invisible fire can burn for years. This is chronic inflammation. Unlike the heat of a healing wound, this fire never rests. It is fueled by excess sugar, unstable fats, and constant stress. In metabolic syndrome, this inflammation squeezes blood vessels, stiffens arteries, and interrupts the brain's delicate chemistry. Genius Foods work like gentle rain, quietly cooling that fire over time. Think about how you feel after a sweet breakfast. First a bright rush, then a deep crash, and hunger again. Each surge of sugar forces your pancreas to release insulin, the key that helps sugar enter cells. Over time, with frequent spikes, cells stop listening. The state we call insulin resistance, a core of metabolic syndrome. The brain, which depends on steady fuel, begins to struggle like a city with unstable electricity. Insulin is not only about blood sugar, it also affects the brain. Some researchers call Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes because the brain gradually becomes less responsive to insulin and energy. Metabolic syndrome raises this risk by years. When your body resists insulin, brain cells cannot use glucose efficiently. Imagine trying to think clearly in a room where the lights keep dimming. That is what many people with metabolic syndrome quietly endure. Max Lugavere did not start as a nutrition researcher. His journey began when someone he loved began changing, slower walking, softer speech, and a fading spark in their eyes. Puzzled by how quickly the brain can decline, he dove into research and eventually wrote Genius Foods. His message is simple but urgent. The way we eat today quietly shapes how we think, remember, and move years from now. If you live with metabolic syndrome, you may carry heavy self-blame. Yet much of today's food environment is designed to override your natural fullness signals, mixing sugar, refined flour, and industrial oils into products that hit the brain's reward centers like fireworks. It is not weakness. It is biology meeting marketing. Understanding this is the first act of kindness you can offer yourself on this journey. Ultra-processed foods are not just convenient, they are carefully engineered. They digest rapidly, send sugar rushing into your blood, and leave you hungry again soon after. Studies show that diets high in these foods are linked to weight gain, insulin resistance, and even cognitive decline. For the brain and body struggling with metabolic syndrome, they act like tiny daily punches that keep the system off balance. Whole foods, vegetables, nuts, seeds, high quality proteins digest more slowly. Their fibers, healthy fats, and natural compounds act like brakes on the sugar roller coaster. Instead of a chaotic rush, they release energy like a steady stream. This calm rhythm gives insulin a chance to work normally and protects delicate blood vessels in the brain and heart. For metabolic syndrome, this is like changing from stormy weather to a clear, stable sky. One of Max Lugavere's heroes is extra virgin olive oil. Rich in monounsaturated fats and antioxidants like polyphenols, it helps reduce inflammation and supports healthy blood vessels. Studies in Mediterranean populations show lower rates of heart disease and cognitive decline where olive oil is a staple. For someone with metabolic syndrome, replacing refined seed oils with olive oil is like swapping worn, squeaky hinges for smooth, well-oiled ones. Spinach, kale, arugula, and other leafy greens are like multivitamins grown from the earth. They deliver folate, magnesium, vitamin K, and countless plant chemicals that protect your brain's wiring. High in fiber and low in calories, they also help improve insulin sensitivity and support weight management. Key challenges in metabolic syndrome. Each handful of greens is a quiet act of repair, leaf by leaf. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, these are not just proteins. They are packages of omega-3 fats, especially DHA, that become part of your brain's cell membranes. Research links higher omega-3 intake to lower inflammation, better triglyceride levels, and improved mood. For metabolic syndrome, fatty fish can help calm overactive blood fats while nourishing the brain. Think of each fillet as a repair crew arriving at both heart and mind. Almonds, walnuts, chia, flax, small but powerful. Nuts and seeds carry fiber, protein, minerals, and healthy fats that slow digestion and support steady blood sugar. Walnuts, shaped like tiny brains, provide plant omega-3s. Chia and flax bring soluble fiber that can help improve cholesterol patterns, often disrupted in metabolic syndrome. A small handful a day can be a simple, satisfying medicine hidden in a snack. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, bright jewels packed with polyphenols and vitamin C. These compounds act as antioxidants, protecting brain cells from oxidative stress, the biological rust that accumulates with high blood sugar and inflammation. Berries are relatively gentle on blood sugar compared to many fruits. For the person with metabolic syndrome, a bowl of berries can feel like dessert while quietly acting like a shield. White bread, pastries, sweet drinks, the soft, comforting foods many of us grew up with. Inside, though, they act like sugar in disguise, breaking down rapidly and flooding the bloodstream. For a metabolism already struggling, they worsen insulin resistance and promote fat storage around the organs. In the brain, repeated sugar surges can damage tiny blood vessels, slowly dimming memory and attention. Many packaged foods, fast foods, and even restaurant meals are fried or prepared in cheap oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower oil. High in omega-6 fats and often heated repeatedly, they can promote inflammation when consumed in excess. This imbalance may disturb the delicate membrane of brain cells and worsen metabolic issues. Rebalancing fats, less of these, more olive oil and omega-3s, is like tuning a musical instrument back into harmony. Sugar hides under many names: sucrose, fructose, corn syrup, maltodextrin. In excess, it fuels fatty liver, raises triglycerides, and deepens insulin resistance, all core features of metabolic syndrome. For the brain, too much sugar over time can impair learning and memory. Reducing added sugar is not deprivation. It is like turning down noise in a room so you can finally hear your own thoughts again. Imagine 2 mornings. In the first, you grab a sweet pastry and juice. In the second, you choose eggs with vegetables cooked in olive oil and a handful of berries. In studies, higher protein, lower sugar breakfasts lead to more stable blood sugar and less hunger later in the day. Over time, this stability protects not only your waistline, but also your brain's ability to focus. Which morning feels more like the future you want. A genius plate does not require fancy recipes. Start with a source of protein, fish, chicken, tofu, or eggs. Add a large serving of leafy greens and colorful vegetables. Include healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts. Finally, if you include carbohydrates, choose whole forms such as beans or quinoa in modest portions. This combination slows digestion, supports insulin, and sends sustained fuel to your brain. Evening meals rich in refined carbs can cause a late blood sugar spike and crash, disturbing sleep and nighttime blood pressure. Instead, a lighter dinner centered on vegetables, adequate protein, and healthy fats can promote more restful sleep and stable overnight metabolism. Quality sleep, in turn, improves insulin sensitivity and appetite hormones. Your dinner tonight is already shaping your cravings tomorrow. Many people with metabolic syndrome find that snacking becomes a reflex, reaching for chips or sweets whenever stress or boredom appears. Instead, imagine snacks as tiny opportunities to nourish your brain. A few nuts, a piece of cheese with cucumber, or a small bowl of berries can satisfy without overloading sugar. Each mindful snack is like a quiet vote cast in favor of your future health. Sugary drinks are one of the fastest ways to worsen metabolic syndrome, sending sugar directly into the bloodstream with no fiber to slow it. Replacing them with water, unsweetened tea, or black coffee can dramatically reduce daily sugar. Coffee and tea, in moderation, also deliver polyphenols linked to brain protection. Simple changes in your glass can ripple through your blood vessels and neurons. Inside your gut, trillions of microbes digest fiber, make vitamins, and communicate with your brain through nerves and chemical messengers. This is the gut-brain axis. Diets high in processed foods and low in fiber can disturb this community, increasing inflammation and even affecting mood. By feeding your microbiome with vegetables, beans, and fermented foods, you brighten this inner city that quietly shapes your metabolism and mind. Yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented foods are like gardeners tending your inner soil. They introduce beneficial bacteria that can support gut health and may reduce inflammation. Some research suggests that a resilient microbiome relates to better insulin sensitivity and mental well-being. Adding a spoonful of fermented foods to meals is a small daily gesture toward both metabolic and emotional balance. Fiber does not get digested by you. It feeds your gut microbes. As they ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids that help strengthen the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and even influence insulin sensitivity. People with metabolic syndrome often eat too little fiber. Whole vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, and seeds quietly restore this missing nutrient like rebuilding the foundation of a house from underneath. Even the best diet struggles against chronic stress. When stress hormones like cortisol stay high, they raise blood sugar, increase appetite, and encourage fat storage around the belly. The brain stays on high alert, burning through its reserves. Simple practices, slow breathing, walking outdoors, talking with a friend, act like invisible ingredients that make your genius foods work better, allowing your metabolism to exhale. You do not need extreme workouts to change your metabolism. Gentle, regular movement, like brisk walking, light strength training, or climbing stairs, helps muscles use glucose more efficiently and improves insulin sensitivity. Even short activity breaks after meals can reduce blood sugar spikes. Think of your muscles as a sponge. When they are used, they soak up extra sugar from the blood, protecting both heart and brain. In several studies, walking for even 10 to 15 minutes after a meal significantly reduced post-meal blood sugar levels, especially in people with insulin resistance. This simple habit gives glucose somewhere to go, into working muscles, instead of lingering in the bloodstream. For those with metabolic syndrome, a calm stroll after dinner can be as valuable as the perfect supplement bottle, but completely free. During deep sleep, your brain clears waste products, balances neurotransmitters, and your body resets hormones that control appetite and blood sugar. Short or poor quality sleep disrupts these processes, raising the risk of weight gain and metabolic syndrome and impairing memory. Guarding your sleep, dimming screens, keeping a regular bedtime, creating a dark, quiet room, is like inviting a skilled doctor to visit you every night. Your body's clock is deeply influenced by light. Bright light in the morning tells your brain it is daytime, improving alertness and helping regulate hormones like cortisol and melatonin. Late night bright screens, however, confuse this clock, delaying sleep and affecting blood sugar control. Stepping into morning daylight and dimming lights at night is a quiet but powerful way to align your metabolism with nature's rhythm. Metabolic syndrome is not a single disease but a cluster. A large waist, high blood pressure, elevated fasting blood sugar, high triglycerides, and low HDL cholesterol. Having 3 or more raises the risk of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and brain decline. Yet naming this pattern is empowering. It means we can target the roots, insulin resistance, and inflammation through daily choices, including genius foods. Imaging studies show that people with metabolic syndrome may have reduced brain volume in certain areas and lower blood flow. These changes relate to slower processing, memory issues, and higher dementia risk. But there is hope. Improvements in weight, blood sugar, and blood pressure are often accompanied by better cognitive performance. The brain is not fixed. It reshapes in response to your daily inputs. A drop of just 5 to 10% in body weight can significantly improve blood sugar, blood pressure, and triglycerides. For someone at 90 kilograms, that is 4.5 to 9 kilograms. Not an extreme transformation, but a gentle shift. Often, this change comes from consistent, modest adjustments, not suffering. Each number you see improving on your lab results is a sign that your brain and body are regaining balance. Picture your day a year ago. Rushing breakfast, sweet coffee, sitting for hours, afternoon slump, heavy dinner, late night snacks. Now reimagine it a year from today. A protein-rich breakfast, short walk breaks, a genius foods lunch, a gentle stroll after dinner, lights dimmed before bed. The difference is not a strict plan, but a series of small, compassionate choices that compound quietly in your favor. Think of your kitchen not as a place of temptation, but as your personal laboratory of healing. Every time you swap sugary cereal for eggs and greens, or soda for sparkling water with lemon, you are running a small experiment. Over weeks, the results appear. Clearer mornings, looser clothes, calmer moods. In Max Lugavere's world, the most powerful therapies often begin not in a pharmacy, but on the cutting board. When you are tired and hungry, willpower is fragile. That is why preparing meals or components in advance is like sending a gift to your future self. A container of washed greens, pre-cooked beans, or grilled chicken can mean the difference between a drive-through choice and a genius meal. For metabolic syndrome, this small strategy reduces decision fatigue and gives your metabolism more consistent support. Cravings can feel like failures, but they are often messages. From unstable blood sugar, poor sleep, stress, or emotional needs. When you want something sweet, pause and ask gently, what am I really needing? Sometimes the answer is rest, comfort, or connection. Paired with genius foods that stabilize your biology, this curiosity turns cravings from enemies into guides on your healing path. Food labels become easier once you know what matters. Focus on added sugars, types of fats, and fiber. Short ingredient lists with recognizable words usually mean less processing. Products that seem healthy can hide sugar under different names. Learning to scan labels is like putting on glasses in a blurry world. You suddenly see which foods support your brain and which quietly sabotage your metabolism. Restaurants and social events can feel like traps, but they can also be training grounds. Look for meals built around protein and vegetables. Ask for sauces on the side, and replace fries with salad when possible. It is not about rigidity, but about choosing where to spend your metabolic budget. Each time you navigate a menu with intention, you prove to yourself that healing is possible even in a busy world. Trying to change deeply rooted habits in isolation is heavy. Sharing your goals with a friend, partner, or online community lightens the load. When others see you choosing genius foods or taking a walk after dinner, they may quietly join. Healing from metabolic syndrome is not just an individual project. It can become a family and community transformation, with each person reinforcing the others. You may feel tempted to weigh yourself daily, but more meaningful changes often appear in other places: fasting blood sugar, waist circumference, energy levels, mood, and sleep quality. Keeping a simple journal of meals, movement, and how you feel transforms guesswork into data. Over time, patterns emerge. Which genius foods lift you? Which habits weigh you down? You become the scientist of your own life. There will be days when the scale does not move, when numbers stall, when old habits whisper loudly. In those moments, remember that biology changes slowly, like turning a giant ship. Invisible shifts, improved insulin receptors, calmer inflammation, stronger neural connections often occur before visible changes. Showing up for yourself on those quiet days is one of the most powerful acts of healing. A holiday, a stressful week, a late night binge, these do not erase your progress. In research and in life, healing is rarely a straight line. The key is how kindly and quickly you return to your genius habits. Instead of thinking I failed, ask, what can I learn? Each setback reveals where you need more support, better planning, or gentler self-talk. This is not a test you pass once, but a relationship you build with your body. As you introduce genius foods and lifestyle changes, medications for blood pressure, blood sugar, or lipids may need adjustment. Some people experience improvements that change their medical needs. For your safety, always discuss significant dietary or exercise changes with your physician and review your lab results regularly. Your doctor's guidance, combined with your daily choices, forms a powerful partnership against metabolic syndrome. While Genius Foods offers broad guidance, every body is unique. What works wonderfully for one person may need adjustment for another, especially with conditions like kidney disease, digestive issues, or food allergies. Pay close attention to how your energy, digestion, sleep, and mood respond to changes. Whenever you are unsure, please consult your physician or a qualified health professional to tailor these ideas safely to your situation. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself 5 or 10 years from now, walking upstairs without gasping, playing fully with grandchildren, recalling names and stories with ease, waking up without pain. Each genius food you choose, each walk, each night of good sleep is a thread weaving that future into reality. Metabolic syndrome is not your identity. It is a pattern your daily actions can slowly rewrite. As we close, ask yourself, what is one small change you can begin today? Perhaps swapping tonight's dessert for berries, adding a handful of greens to lunch, or taking a 10-minute walk after dinner. Healing from metabolic syndrome and protecting your brain does not happen overnight, but it does begin with a single decision. If this journey inspired you, please subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone you love. Then take your next small, gentle step.